G'day, welcome back. In the interest of full disclosure, I mounted this up in the back of the Spindle late yesterday afternoon, and it was wobbling around a bit, so when I machined this hub I obviously didn't get it completely true when I turned it around. So I mounted up my collar chuck, which I tend to forget I have from time to time, and luckily the biggest collar in here is 20mm, and that's what the back end of this is. So I've trued this up just on this face here, and hopefully it'll work pretty good now. Although it does still wobble around when I put it in the back, so obviously the bore of this spindle is not 100% true. I don't know what this is made of, but it's pretty damn hard. I tried to file the outside of it here today, and that's what it did to my file. Made a right mess of it, so it's pretty damn hard, whatever it is. I tried to actually turn it off because it's a bit, the outside of it's a bit like that, so I thought it just looks disconcerting, makes it look worse than it actually is, but there's very little run out this way. So we'll get on with it. I've thought a bit about how I'm going to mount all this on the back, and it's not going to be as hard as I thought, so I'll get on with that. Okay, so to catch up on just what it is I'm going to do, the caliper mounts up here on there, and I should have undone this before I started. And what I'm going to do is, it's like a spring, this thing, it's driving me crazy. So we'll mount this up here. I've got this, I'm going to, I've marked it out, the shape of this bracket. I'm going to cut a piece out of there, leave a bit on the side here and down a bit lower to hang down here. And that will allow me to bolt that up in this position. Then I will use something else to come down and attach to the top of, or the side, just depends where it sits. I think though the top of this bit of angle line, and then out on the front here I'll fix a plate in the front edge of the angle line with a turned up round shaft that will fit this, which is 20mm, and that will slide on, clamp on there, and then to enable me to put the brake on and have it lock in place, I'm going to make up a little, I've got a piece of stainless there, make up fold it up, drill a hole through here, fold it over so it fits, put a bolt through that, and then up inside there, if I can go and find one, I hope I can get one, I'll get one of those, I don't know what they call them, but a spring where you have a leg here, then it coils up and then the leg goes back out here, so you squeeze it like that, it'll spring back out, so it will push a little tab across that way, and up here we'll have a little trigger so you can pull it with your finger, like when you reach over the handle you can pull it with your finger. And on the face of the bit on the machine up here, I'll drill and tap a hole in that, make a little flat plate with a slot in it, and so this trigger will have a little hook on it, so that when you push the handle down to put the brake on, the little flap will drop into the slot and lock it in place. And then to release it, it'll just be a case of push down on the handle, pull the trigger, and then let it back up again. So hopefully that all works. Sounds good in theory. So let's get on with that. I just remembered I want to drill 2 holes in here in the corners there and there, so I better go and do that first. Got a couple of teeth missing in this thing already. I thought originally it was just where the blade had been joined, but maybe it was, but there's now about 3 or 4 teeth missing in there. So that, as long as it keeps cutting, I'll keep using it.
Here I'm just attaching a piece of 1 inch or 25mm, 4mm flat bar. It's cut at 45 degrees both ends, and the other end you can see there will get welded on top of the angle iron that's sitting down on the back of the lathe. Oops, I set the ply on fire that the lathe sits on. Better put that out.
The only reason I'm using the magnet is those 2 bits are not the same thickness. Otherwise I'd have used a pair of vice grips or something. Just pulled a little. Don't break off, damn ya. Alrighty.
Sorry about that, I didn't realise at the time that that was out of shot. The camera I'm using, my old camera, has no screen on the front, so I've got no idea. Once I line it up, set it up, can't see what's going on once I press record.
Well, I've got to say it's taken me a lot longer than I thought it would have to knock this over, but anyway, we're getting there. There's those damn yapping bloody rats again. Barking rats. Well, like I said a little earlier, this has taken a lot longer than I was hoping. I was hoping to get this finished today, but that's pretty much it. So now all I have to do is make the latch for in here and the little trigger to let it go. There is some adjustment in here to play with, but this works pretty damn well. Spindle turns, spindle's not going anywhere. So yep, works a treat. So now all I need to do is make up the trigger for here to make it lockable, and it's done. And I'll be able to, when I'm using it, it's only 2 bolts there, that nut there, take the whole damn thing off. So the way things rust here, I'm hoping I'm not going to come out here tomorrow morning and find that all rusty before I can get it painted. Because it's beer o'clock, it's 20 past 4 in the afternoon here, and it's time to clean up and put everything away. I'll finish this tomorrow. Although tomorrow's shopping day, so I get bugger all done on shopping day. But anyway, so there we go, we're nearly there. Alrighty, I've gone and done something extremely left field for me and made a drawing, which is kind of not normal for me. I normally just wing it as I go. But I thought I'd better draw one up, so that's basically it there. This is the tab that'll hang down the front. These are the little wings to fold up to pivot off, so they'll have a hole there and a hole there. This will get rounded off, pointed off. I'm thinking about making a little, some sort of a form so that I can impress this so that it ends up that shape, basically, to make it a little stronger. But then again, I have to bend it like that as well. So anyway, I'll have a little play with it, see how I go. Luckily I can cut this stuff up with a pair of tin snips. I don't have to muck around with the bandsaw to do it. So I'll get on with that. Oh, and before I do, came out this morning and guess what? Parts of this had started going rusty. But I've chopped that off and painted it that sparkling black. So it looks pretty groovy. I like that stuff. Alright, I'll get on with copping this up. Okay. I didn't want to videotape all of this, or it would have been a 3-hour long video. It's all pretty basic, just cutting stuff up with a pair of tin snips and bending it. Except for this bit here. All I did with that, to get that in there, was I opened the vise up just a little tiny bit and sat this across the opening and put a piece of 5/16 round on there and just hit it with a hammer until I got the shape I wanted, and just rounded the end off. So that makes that straightens it up, makes it work a bit better. That spring type that I was after, I did find one down the little engineering shop I go to, but it was too big. It was about that round, and yesterday afternoon I was trying to reshape it and make it smaller, but I've put it down somewhere, I can't find it now. But anyway, I found this line on the desk there last night, and I thought, I wonder if that's strong enough. And it is. So I just drilled and tapped a little 3mm screw into there, so that just sits on that, and then up in here. And luckily this is this handle's aluminium. I thought it was pressed steel, but it's actually aluminium. I just got into there and roughed it out a bit with the 3mm end mill to make sure this stayed in place, and it just sits up in there like that, and the bolt goes through it. I'll have to put a little Loctite on the nut because it wants to tighten itself up when you work it a bit. So I'll Loctite that in place. I didn't do it before I showed you. It's strong enough to do what it needs to do. So anyway, we just push it down, locks into place, and then when you want to let it off, push it down, pull the thing, and up it comes. So that's worked out pretty well. I'm doing this on my desk because it's what they call a big Buddha day here today, and it's supposed to be an alcohol-free day, but I think old mate across the road's been on the terps, and he's got the Northern Thailand or Isam music cranked up outside, so I've come in here to do this. But I'll put this back on the machine, and when old mate's not making too much noise, all finishes off. Okie dokie, it's a bit quieter out here this morning, so we'll get on with this. So this is the state of play. I've actually marked the spin weight a little play with to see where it ran the truest. I will show you in a second just how out of whack this is once I'm mounted in the back compared to running in that collet chuck. So that just fits in there like that, and this just slides over. There's 2 bolts that go in here. Coil up this hydraulic hose because it's such a pain in the bum, and made up. This is one of the little bits I cut off the trigger piece that I had. So we just to try and keep it all in place. At this point in time, if you've enjoyed this build, I'd really appreciate it if you gave me a huge thumbs up. So smash that like button if you feel that way inclined. I'd really appreciate it. It helps me to keep going with this stuff. It lets me know that people enjoy what I make and the videos I make. They mightn't be the best videos on YouTube, but I do try hard. Alright, so I'm going to lock that in place. There it is. And then I'm just going to do this up nice and tight. Righto. So there we have it. It pushed down, so it locks in place. I didn't talk much about this thing yesterday. I changed my mind. I said originally I was going to put a tab in there with a slot in it, but after thinking about it long and hard, it was going to be hard to make a little tiny slot in there, so I just decided this was a better option. And it works pretty well. So just push it and just drops in over the top. Push it down, let it go. Beautiful. So there we are, it's all locked up. Something else I've done is I've put a little tab up here with a pointer, so it can just be swung out. So when I'm using it to make things like the graduated dials on the cross slide, I can just bring it around to a mark I want, lock it into place. So that's it, as we have it. So like I said, I hope you enjoyed this. Keep up to date with what I'm doing, and I've got plenty planned. Why not consider subscribing? I nearly forgot, I told you I'd show you just how much this thing runs out, so I'd better do that before we go, just so you can see. And it's not nice, it's not pretty. I mean, it's not too bad, but it's definitely worse than what it was up here in the mounted in the collar chuck. But I can live with that because it's not meant to stop the spindle when it's spinning. It's just meant to stop the spindle from rotating when I'm trying to do something. Alright, so that's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.